Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Dyker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem, in La Crosse on 3rd Street downtown and George and Gillette Street. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome in, race fans. It's Seven Rivers Racing here in KQEG TV, along with Billy Doc Niles way down there. The Penguin in the middle, that is Paul. I'm Radio Man Dan Dyker, our weekly racing program, where we recap all of the highlights and spills and chills from the Crosse Speedway, the Tomah Sparta Speedway, and then if we have time, we took a guest in there, and our guest today is responsible for that. Everybody point that there. Drew Krybick with Epic Media. Tunja Super Late Model Series and Back 40 Wraps is going to join us here on the program. Did want to point out that Al Losi and Fansarena.com, one of our sponsors, has the brand new shirts. Billy's got it on. No, show the other sleeve. Al Losi added KQEG TV to it this year. Very nicely done, Al.
Sleeve up there. No, this one. There you go.
There.
Everybody
There you
can
go.
see that. There we go.
There it is. Of course, Big Boar Barbecue, they are the main sponsor of this program. They are finally open on the north side, and they had to take it away last year, but it's back this year. Right next door is the mini donut trailer.
Down, Dyker, down. Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Let's just jump right into
Barbecue and some donuts.
I'm
Yummy.
getting hungry. The La Crosse late models, the feud is back, and it's going to be strong this year. Steve Carlson wins the Frostbuster. Nick Panizzi comes back, and he wins the regular season opener. We're going to show the last two laps of this one right here. Man, I tell you what, once Nick was out front, nobody was going to capture him. Steve Carlson got past Nick Clements about 2 laps later, and of course, I call it the creamsicle.
Yes, the creamsicle car. I think Amber's not too pleased.
Looks like a Tampa Bay Buccaneer jersey.
Amber Clements didn't like that, so I have to stick to the Kachow number 8 throughout the year. That's, of course, his wife. And Jacob Gady got past Steve Carlson with 4 to go to take second, so we're kind of deja vuing back to the Frostbuster just a tad bit, minus Ty Majeski. Winner's circle afterwards. You remember when Billy had Steve Carlson on the track for the Frostbuster, there was some booing and hissing and clapping, and Steve told you at the very end.
He said, come back all year, folks. We're going to be here.
I talked to Nick Panizzi Saturday night. Nick said, that is right, folks. We're going to be here all summer long. So expect that back and forth to happen quite a bit, especially with Twin 20s coming of the Speedway this week. On to the Sportsman Penguin.
And that was a great race. Jeff Thompson got to the lead, but Brian Hesselberg was right with him for much of that race, and then got under him with 3 laps to go, and slowly pulled away to claim the victory, and nice birthday present for him.
Now, Brian Hesselberg now, of course, I had him in the Grape Ape for 4 or 5 years. This year he's changed the paint scheme, so now he's the Pink Panther, and he dun-dun-dun-dun around turn 4.
And that was a sweet okey-doke move he pulled on Thompson to get that coming from the top side all the way down to the bottom. Sweet move to get the feature win last Saturday.
Talk about putting a run together. He did it right then and there. So the Brian Hesselberg gets a birthday present and a feature race win. Billy Doc Niles, Hobby Stocks, quite interesting with 2 different drivers on vacation and 2 different drivers in those cars.
Yeah, Adam Moore takes a week off, so Andy Moore gets in there, and he gets out to a huge lead. Yellow flag comes out with 5 to go. Not going to matter. He's going to end up driving off and ends up winning this one rather comfortably. Not shocking. I mean, both Moores know that track like the back of their hand, and they very rarely go, oops, what's that? So
right.
It doesn't matter who you put behind the wheel of that car. It's going to find its way to the front end rather quickly.
To the Hornets we go. Had about 25, and it took a while for some of our former track champions to really work their way to the front, as you're going to see the last 2 right here, especially Chris Thunderberg out of Ettrick. Finally found himself some daylight. I don't even know how he was getting around cars, because the winner was Justin Shalicki out of Minnesota, and he passed like 9 cars in turn 4, and boom, there he was in the lead. DQ'd for Camber, so the win went to Chris Thunderberg, former track champion. Also won, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, to make it 2 for 2 that night. Minivans, we're back with us, 12 of them.
Yes, and remember that great finish there with Stanfield being out more by just 1 point? Well, Rob got out to a big lead again to start the minivan season, but Matt Moore tried to close up. I think he got as far as a couple car lengths before the checkered flag flew, and Rob claimed the victory.
First novelty event of the year, Billy Doc Niles, was the second over-the-line race featuring the Hornets.
Featuring the Hornets this time. Actually, it was the second novelty event. We had a novelty event at the Frostbuster featuring the hobby stocks.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So it was actually the second novelty event. This one featuring...
See, now Paul wrote this in the press release, so Paul had it wrong.
Yeah, oh well. Uh-oh, we just outdid him. But hey, you know, in the end, second one over the line. Congratulations, Chris Thunderberg winning the first one for the for the Hornet class. Hey, action continues this weekend with the late models competing in twin 20-lap features. Also, the Sportsman, the Hobby Stocks, and the Street Stocks will be in action as part of the show. Gates open at 6 o'clock, qualifying at 6:15. First green flag drops at 7:30.
If you were there Saturday night, Eric Hedefeld, who is the ARCA Midwest Tour announcer, lives around Rockford, actually came up and took in the program Saturday night with his wife and his beautiful daughter. And after the race was done, went back on social media and had said that looking at the car counts we had at La Crosse for the late models last year, and then the Frostbuster, and then this year, said that La Crosse has to have the largest late model program in the U.S.
That's high praise coming from someone who's done a lot of traveling throughout the Midwest. And overall, I think late model racing is starting to get healthy everywhere. I mean, the last couple of years, La Crosse has been great because we finally moved our rules towards the rest of the state, and we're starting to be competitive with the rest of the state. Guys are starting to come to La Crosse now. You see Jacob Gady, you see Jeff Partington, you see Nick Paninsky, guys who wouldn't normally run here. Now they're coming here every week. Bobby Wilberg making frequent visits. So the racing at La Crosse is getting better, and hopefully that's also a sign of things to come for the rest of the state. And I'm really looking forward to more late model racing blossoming in the Midwest.
The other thing that's kind of evolving right now at the La Crosse Speedway is if you look at the point standings for the Sportsman, 5 drivers are right there right now after 2 races in. This could be probably the most interesting battle. If the Carlson-Paninsky thing takes off, where they're just kind of flip-flopping, winning races every single week, and maybe someone can sneak in that third spot, like a Nick Clemens or a Randy Humfeld, someone around there, the Sportsmen are going to be totally different this year, because right now, if you look on paper, you have 5, almost 6 drivers that close to each other in the point standings. That could stick and stay through Oktoberfest.
And if Chris Webber can avoid the bad luck that he's had the first 2 weeks, he's going to be part of that also. So 2 weeks in, and you got 5 or 6 drivers within about 15, 20 points of each other. You add Weber to that mix, and it's going to be some phenomenal racing throughout the season.
When we come back, we're going to show you highlights from the Tomah Sparta Speedway. One of the best second-of-the-line races I have ever called was last Friday night at Tomah. And then our special guest is Drew Krybeck to talk about Tomah Sparta Speedway and the Tundra Super Late Model Series. He's Billy Doc Niles. It's Paul the Penguin Reichert and Radio Man Dan Dyker. We'll be right back after this on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Spring has sprung, the grass is riz, and Big Boar Food Truck is back in biz. Yes, the Northside Food Truck at George and Gillette Street is back in business. Stop by for lunch or dinner, enjoy our pulled pork, chopped brisket, fresh cut fries, sweet potato fries, cheese curds, and our own baked beans and coleslaw. Watch for ribs and chicken on select days. Big Boar is back at George and Gillette, and still a delicious mouthful.
Yeah!
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter.
Hey, Dave.
Like giving Jeff his ladder back before he takes it back. Or where to put the food when you both get the groceries. Or the doggy door that just became a raccoony door. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your 2018 American Standard Building a Higher Standard Award winner. Call Carey today for your free estimate.
Welcome back, race fans. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. Billy Doc Niles, Paul the Penguin Reichert, Radio Man Dan Dyke. I want to invite you to our YouTube page, Seven Rivers Racing. All the programs, I think all 9 years worth of programs are still on that page. You can go back and find whatever you want. You can hear from the sponsors, find your favorite drivers, maybe get some flashback videos when me and Al Losi.
I've seen some of those videos. You know what's changed since then? You don't have that cheesy mustache.
Yeah, that's kind of thinned out from that days back in the day there. Also, Facebook. Find us on Facebook. You never know whose videos or contest will appear on the page. Last Friday night at the Tomah Sparta Speedway, their chaos event, Crosse calls them novelty events. At Tomah, we call them chaos events, was the six-shooter second over-the-line race. And I kid you not, Paul Reichert had to come into the announcer booth twice to make sure I wasn't having a stroke.
Yes, that was the most exciting race I've ever seen.
So instead of just showing you the last two laps like we normally do with La Crosse and Tomah, here is the chaos event, second of the line, with the six-shooters in its entirety.
Again, it doesn't matter how far out you have a lead. You've got to finish second to win the race. So Cheeto Hessig leads lap number one. Then it's going to be Murphy, Moore, McCracken, Moore, and Fry.
I've heard of races where you race for second place, but this is for real second place winning here.
I've seen drivers in fifth place win this thing.
Anything can happen on that last turn.
Matt Moore trying to line himself up to finish second. It's Moore, Cheeto, McCracken, Murphy, Moore, and Fry. Halfway home this time by 3 up, 3 down. That battle for third right now between Murphy and McCracken, one of those two could win this thing. Cheeto's going to make it difficult for the drivers behind them to try to win it because now one of the top two could finish this second for first, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, something like that.
1.5 to go, then it's going to get interesting. White flag is in hand this time by. Jockeying for positions go the drivers. Feast your eyes in turn 4. That's where the bumping is going to happen. 3 wide. McCracken knows how this is done. 2 rows of 3 wide racing. I have never seen that here at Tomah before. You got to finish second to win. Who's it going to be? Bumping, banging, 4 wide down the front straightaway. Second place will win it.
That was insane.
Who thinks the 31 won that? Who thinks it's the 90? Year winner of the first 6-shooter chaos race is the 31 of Cheeto. I've never seen 2 rows of 3 wide racing ever here at Tomah since 2007, and I sure have never seen 4 wide, Rick Porter.
Wow. Holy cow.
2 rows of 3 wide and almost 5 wide coming out of 4, and no major.
How do you get them that wide on that tiny track?
I didn't think you could go more than 3. I really didn't. That was simply outstanding. Kudos goes up to Alex Leach, who actually won that race. It was not Clayton Cheeto Hesse. We didn't know about that till after the race. No. And then Matt Moore and Dan Fryer, they flip-flop cars too. So and Tim Murphy's one that actually went off the old track on the new track. So kudos to those 5 drivers that really made that thing interesting. Also interesting and mighty loud, it's Friday night with the modifieds.
Oh, yes, great show. Larry DeVito won his heat race, got to a good lead. Looked like he was going to win, but then along came fast qualifier Brad Wilds. And after his battle with Nick Quinnell last week in the feature, he came away claiming the victory in the feature this week.
And, of course, as you see the last two right there, Nick Quinnell's going to make himself some noise this year. He won the feature the very first night out. Brad Wilds now has won 2 in a row. And Darren Salo has had some motor problems like he did last year. He's finally got some things figured out, and we expect him to be back for about 11 to 12, 13 car field the next time that Tomah runs. And check out the Tomah Sparta Speedway.com Facebook page. The Legends and Bandoleros are coming. I can't wait for the Legends. Hobby Stock's Billy Doc Niles. This is getting interesting.
Yeah, could we have a new rivalry brewing here? Raymond Hardy been pretty stout here the first couple of weeks. Him and Andy Moore looking like they're going to be the top 2 contenders for that one. Hardy took the lead 3 laps into the race. Moore would run him down, and they would swap the lead back and forth about 4 or 5 different times. Eventually, with about 5 laps to go, as you're seeing here, Moore would shoot out to the lead and leave Hardy in his dust for his 2nd straight win in the hobby stock class. And these two, not only at lacrosse, but at lacrosse. They got a history at lacrosse. They got a history at Tomah. This could be a fun season between them two, between both tracks.
This race, there were 4 races that went down to the wire side by side at Tomah last weekend. This was one of them. I think it could have finished like this had Raymond Hardy not bobbled in turn 4, because he was trying to get a run going on coming off of 4, and just a little bit of a slip up right there is I think what cost him that race. What a way for Andrew Moore to come out. Now he's related to Andy and Adam and Matt and probably any of the Moore in western Wisconsin. Let's roll the last 2 laps of this one right here. Jellybean Jordan Finch did a nice job of actually leading this race for quite a bit until Andrew Moore worked his Hornet through the field. James Rittenhouse was also working through until, I'm really not sure what broke in his car in lap 7, but he had to shut it down on the back straightaway. I'll tell you what, Moore wins the race, but how about Jellybean Jordan Finch? Best finish ever, taking
Great
2nd.
Finish. Definitely a great finish.
The top 7 in points, top 6 in points were not there. She was, so now she's got to be around 2nd, maybe even the point leader.
Jellybean's leading?
Yeah. She's got to be close.
Nice.
She's got to be close. Remember how she started last year, folks? She started 9-1 in the turn 2 wall and had to sit out for 4 weeks as Paul was trying to get her a new car. So I'm very impressed in what she's done. We also had a new female driver that was in a Hornet last weekend. Her name slips me now.
Amelia Marshall.
Amelia. She cooked hamburgers for 4 years at Tomah, Billy. Now she's racing.
So instead of cooking hamburgers, now she's going to cook tires in the corners.
She's going to try. 6 shooters were back out in full force again, Paul Reichert.
Yep.
This was a good one for the number 11 car.
Yeah, Dustin McCracken got out to a good lead, but then Tristan Draskowski got by, and then Matt Moore closed things up, and just like they battled in the heat race the week before, Tristan ended up pulling off Matt Moore to claim the victory.
And there is a new sheriff in town. When you talk about the 6 shooters, Moore won week number 1 from the back. He and Druskowski both started knee-deep in this field here. And the DZR Enterprises racing number 11 came through and got it done. His dad's still trying to get his car back together, so that'll be interesting to have father and son there on the racetrack. But 6 shooters really did a nice job last Friday night. Many stocks, Billy Doc Niles. We talked about one Finch. How about you talk about the other?
Yeah, hitting the track for the first time this year. Paul Finch would make quick work of Donovan Hawes, but he would have to contend with Wayne Malsby in the closing laps. Malsby chases him down here, and as you're going to see, he tries every which way to get around Finch. He tries high, he tries low, and in the end, Finch fights off Malsby's challenges. He winds up in victory lane, and he's the first mini stock in 2019 to ring that really cool new victory bell.
And I'll tell you, Malsby had problems week number 1 when they first ran. Malsby had problems qualifying last Friday night. He had problems in his heat race. And that car was awfully strong last year. He finally got some things figured out, and he gave Finch a challenge all the way down to the end of that one. When we come back, we're going to talk about Tomah Sparta Speedway on the social media aspect, and then touch your super late models with Drew Krybeck. That's coming up next on 7 Rivers Racing.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Are you ready for the Ultimate Platter Challenge? Jerry here at Big Boar Barbecue. Our Ultimate Platter is loaded with pork, brisket, chicken, ribs, 3 sides, and 4 slices of bread. If you can eat it all, it's yours free. I'll even give you a certificate for another one you can share with your friends. So how about it? You ready to take the challenge? Stop by, check out the rules, and dig in. And oh yeah, that's a mouthful.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter.
Hey, Dave.
Like giving Jeff his ladder back before he takes it back. Or where to put the food when you both get the groceries. Or the doggy door that just became a raccoony door. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your 2018 American Standard Building a Higher Standard Award winner. Call Carey today for your free estimate.
Welcome back, race fans. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. Remember that the program goes up on our YouTube channel every single week when our producer Jesse has a chance to do that. So we pretty much let people on Facebook know, hey, you can watch the entire show if they want to.
That's right. Jesse does a great job adding everything you see below us right now. So it looks great.
And watch this segue. And talk about adding things. This guest did this. So we added this here. And what a segue that was. Epic Media, Back 40 Wraps, did this brilliant backdrop, which we've needed the backdrop for years. And even Jerry Byer at Big Boar Barbecue said, I really, if you leave that on my building, I'm taking it home with me. Drew Kravick joining us in the studio. Morning, buddy.
Good.
Good to have you back on.
Too.
We did this on purpose for Drew because, like my job schedule, 7 days a week, you got to find time to get a breath in there someplace, and you actually are catching a breath. But I know when you leave the studio, you're going to go back to work and do something.
Oh yeah, I got a few cars to get done yet before Saturday. So.
Of course, Drew vinyls, cars. He has Epic Media. He has social media and marketing business. If you're in the market for something like that, especially startup businesses, get a hold of Drew. Burn Boot Camp does things with that. Formerly with Dean Satellites, and we've had him on the program. Great friend of the program.
Tundra, he does stuff with Tundra.
Tundra, we're going to talk about.
When do you sleep, my man?
Between 12 and 6.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's fun though. I absolutely love what I do, and I love helping in the racing world.
Start talking about how you got involved with Tomah Sparta and the social media there.
And the fantastic way that Drew does the social media at Tomah Sparta.
So Greg Oliver and I were going to, back in 2011, kind of rekindle, the racing there, and then that deal just didn't work out, and then he took over last year, 2018, and he was involved in so many different things already. He just needed some help on the social media stuff, and so I was getting into the full-time Epic deal and just kind of worked out.
And it's not the easiest. I mean, I do it for both the radio and the TV page. Running a social media page successfully is not that easy.
No, it's just a lot on my phone, a lot of screen time. I think it's an average of about 9 to 10 hours a day of screen time, and 800 notifications a day. But I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change anything that I do.
And then not only do you do that, but with Epic Media and Vinyl, you not only make cool signs like this, but you do a lot of dressing up race cars and go-karts.
Yeah, I've been asked how many cars I've done, or am I on, or I have 1 sticker or 2 stickers on. I don't even count anymore. They send me a message, and we were cutting vinyl, I think, about 1 o'clock before the lacrosse opener. I got a late message of, hey, you still awake? I need a sponsor. And I understand how important sponsors are to the racers, and so I usually don't say anything.
Hopefully, if Jesse, before the show airs, can pull up Mike Carlson's hood this year, man, as soon as the Frostbuster rolled around, I could see that hood before I even turned the corner going towards his car. Outstanding job. Man, does that pop.
Yeah, I kind of, over the winter, I got bored and decided to put a different logo together, and actually threw it on some sim racing cars on the hood there, and thought that looked pretty cool. So
it
I'd like to see it in the real world
too.
Last couple of years, it seems like Carlson's been the test car for everything you want to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he has his own vinyl stuff, and so between the two of us, we make it look pretty cool. And most people, if you look at Bubba Pollard's car, usually we're copying a lot of his
Between
schemes.
the two of them, they made one of my cars look cool, and I got a Best Appearing Car award.
Yeah, that car had a lot of hours into it, a lot of early morning hours into it, but that was fun. That was one of the first ones that I actually helped him with. What was that, 2008 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
A long time ago, that red, white, and blue striped car, but it's kind of where we got the start.
That's the year that you took my 4th of July hat and it was on your Hot Shot cards.
Yes, if it fits, yeah.
Why not?
And now look at the relationship.
Tucker also runs, or one of the guys that runs the Tundra Super Late Model Series, and man, has that thing just taken off. It's mighty, mighty successful. Your first race was last week that Dennis Prunty ended up winning. I was so impressed with the car counts coming off of the Joe Shear Classic. These cars were fresh and ready to go.
Yeah, I think we had 35 on the grounds, and I think 33 or 34 times, and then we started 28. It was awesome to see. It was an awesome field of cars. Usually, Kaukauna draws a lot. Good fan count, good car count there weekly. So we were able to bring in some travelers and then, kind of pick up some of the locals too.
I've got a burning question. When you watch a Tundra race, you see different colored Tundra stickers on the cars. What does that mean?
So it's something that, we started back in 2014, I believe it was, and it was something to really try to get fan interaction. So that way they, again, as a touring series, not all the fans know who's what or who's who. Of course, it's all on the website, it's all on Facebook, but we know not a lot of times they're looking at it. So we wanted something that was interactive with the fans, and so we started to put past champions, so that way you could easily identify past champions of the series, and then also feature wins. So we kind of went, at that time, the green, now it's a yellow sticker for past champions, and then a bright orange for feature winners. So as you show up to a race maybe later in the season, if we have 3 past champions, you'll see a yellow sticker, and then the point leader too. So as you kind of see who's working through the field, it's just an easy way to recognize based on that Tundra decal, kind of who's fast, who's won a race already. And it's been pretty cool because the last 2 years we've had six races and 6 different winners, so we've gotten to hand out a lot of different stickers.
One thing I liked that you talked about on our radio show this week was the reasoning behind allowing teams to compete for a championship. And we only got a couple minutes left. Can you kind of quickly go over that again? Yeah, absolutely. It's something that, with only 6 races, you'd think like, hey, anybody should be able to do 6 races. But there's sometimes stuff comes up, either graduation, a wedding. The wife says we're going camping this weekend. Yep. And, it just allows guys to have that team already formed. So actually a lot of guys, they'll just kind of declare as a team because you have to do it before round 1. And it gives them a chance, maybe, at Kaukauna last week, for example, the Golden Sands had a race the night before. A lot of those guys don't have 2 cars, so if they wreck that night before, there's a high chance they're not going to be able to make it to that next race. But if they have a teammate already declared, they can actually call that teammate and they may be able to salvage points and still run for that championship and not have that race eliminate them from the championship. All right, with just about a minute left, talk about the great sponsors helping the Tundra Series out this year. It's Wisconsin Potato and Vegetable Growers Association. They've been on board really since the beginning that we've gone traveling. 5-star race car bodies. Our hearts go out to Wagner. Carl Wagner was a huge supporter of what we've done with the 5.3 engine. Really bought into the Tundra program. And so we're saddened by his passing. The racing community has lost a few great engine builders in the last couple of years, and B&B Bruce was also a big supporter of Tundra. And so our hearts go out to them. And then Back 40 Wraps, Epic. Bonafide is, I think, going to be jumping on board from the Milwaukee area, and so we have quite a few sponsors that are helping us out this year. Awesome.
Next race for the Tundra Super Late Models is a big one at the Marshfield Motor Speedway. It is the Bev Aschenbrenner Memorial. That's going to be on Saturday, June 8th. 4:30 is qualifying. The green flag drops at 6. Just look up Tundra Super Late Models on the internet. Look them up on Facebook, which is probably your best way to go because that thing is lively. It's always updated, and they take some fantastic pictures, so make sure you check that out. Thanks for coming in, and again, we greatly appreciate what you did back here. And Jerry Beyer and Big Boar Barbecue, it's fantastic.
A lot of fun. Maybe we'll have to order him one for him.
I mean, Paul's still lucky his name's on there. All right, that's going to do it for the program. Check us out on YouTube. Jess will put the program up on Monday, and all 6 or 7 times we air this entire week. We really appreciate the sponsors, and we really appreciate you watching us. For Drew Kravick and Billy Doc Niles, I'm Radio Man Dan Dyker. Until next week, support your local short tracks. This is 7 Rivers Racing.
You've been watching 7 Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Dyker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem, in La Crosse on 3rd Street downtown, and George and Gillette Street. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carry heating and air conditioning. Thanks for watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Spring has sprung, the grass is riz, and Big Boar Food Truck is back in biz. Yes, the Northside Food Truck at George and Gillette Street is back in business. Stop by for lunch or dinner, enjoy our pulled pork, chopped brisket, fresh cut fries, sweet potato fries, cheese curds, and our own baked beans and coleslaw. Watch for ribs and chicken on select days. Big Boar is back at George and Gillette, and still a delicious mouthful.
Yeah.